Something hit Uranus hard enough to break a planet. Not crack it, not scar the surface, flip it. Every planet in the solar system rotates roughly upright. Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Neptune. Uranus does not. It spins sideways. Its north pole does not rise and fall like the others. For decades at a time, one side of the planet faces the sun in permanent daylight, while the other freezes in darkness. A season on Uranus lasts 21 Earth years. One sunrise, one sunset, every 4 decades. The planet rolls around the sun like a ball thrown across a floor, and according to everything we understand about how planets form, that should not happen. Because planets are born inside rotating disks of gas and dust surrounding young stars, everything forms in roughly the same direction, the same motion, the same gravitational flow. The solar system is orderly because it formed from the same spinning cloud 4.5 billion years ago. Uranus looks like something interrupted that order, violently. At first, astronomers thought the measurements were wrong. The planet was discovered in 1781 by William Herschel. For years, it appeared as little more than a pale blue disk through telescopes. Then, the calculations became more precise. Its axis leaned 98 degrees. Not tilted slightly, not unusually angled, almost completely horizontal. Imagine Earth rotating sideways, the poles dragged around the sun instead of pointing up and down, the oceans rearranged, the atmosphere destabilized, entire climate systems collapsing into chaos.
And the deeper astronomers looked, the stranger it became. The magnetic field does not align with the planet either. Earth's magnetic field emerges roughly from the poles. Jupiter's does too. So does Saturn's. Uranus has a magnetic field tilted 59 degrees away from its rotation. Not only that, the magnetic field is offset from the planet's center itself. It behaves less like a stable planetary magnetosphere and more like something damaged, as though the inside of the planet had been displaced, shifted, twisted. Then there are the moons. Uranus has 27 of them. Most orbit neatly around the planet's strange equator, perfectly adapted to its sideways orientation, which means whatever happened to Uranus happened early enough for the moons to settle into the aftermath. And that leaves one possibility. Something enormous struck Uranus during the birth of the solar system. Not an asteroid, not a moon, a planet. A world at least twice the mass of Earth, possibly larger, moving at tens of thousands of kilometers per hour. The collision would have released more energy than humanity could comprehend. Oceans of molten rock thrown into space, shock waves traveling through the planet's core, entire layers of atmosphere ripped apart, and somewhere in that impact, Uranus tipped over. Simulations suggest the strike may not have been direct. A glancing blow works better. A collision at just the right angle. Enough force to overturn the planet without completely destroying it. Cosmic precision. One slightly different trajectory, and Uranus may never have survived at all. But survival created another mystery. Because Uranus should be hotter, Jupiter radiates enormous internal heat into space. So does Saturn. Even Neptune, farther from the sun, emits more energy than it receives. Uranus barely does. Its internal heat is strangely weak. The planet looks dormant, almost dead inside. Something may have happened beneath the atmosphere after the collision. The impact could have disrupted the interior so severely that heat became trapped deep inside the planet, unable to escape efficiently. A world carrying ancient energy under layers of frozen pressure, silent, cold, buried. And Uranus is cold, the coldest atmosphere in the solar system. Temperatures plunge below minus 224 degrees Celsius, colder than Neptune, despite being closer to the sun. At those temperatures and pressures, chemistry changes completely. Methane freezes, Cloud structures transform. The atmosphere thickens into layers of hydrogen, helium, and exotic ice. Not ice like snow or glaciers. Ice compressed into forms that barely resemble matter on Earth. Deep below the clouds, pressure climbs to millions of times stronger than Earth's atmosphere. Water ceases behaving like liquid. The molecules break apart. Oxygen and hydrogen separate under crushing force into electrically conductive oceans. And beneath that, diamond rain. Carbon compressed so violently that atoms lock into crystalline structures before sinking deeper into the planet. Storms of solid diamonds falling through darkness thousands of kilometers below the cloud. Above it all, the atmosphere appears calm, featureless, almost empty, but Voyager 2 changed that. In 1986, the spacecraft became the only probe in history to visit Uranus. It passed within 81,500 kilometers of the cloud tops. What it found raised more questions than answers. The planet looked strangely smooth, almost lifeless compared to Jupiter's storms or Saturn's bands. But instruments detected violent winds moving faster than 900 kilometers per hour, invisible chaos hidden beneath pale blue clouds. And then, Voyager saw the rings. 13 thin, dark rings surrounding the planet. Not bright like Saturn's, not majestic. Sharp, narrow, almost unnatural, like fragments left over from destruction. Some astronomers believe the collision that flipped Uranus may also have shattered ancient moons, scattering debris into orbit and forming the rings seen today, a planetary crime scene still circling the wreckage.
Uranus still carries the evidence, a frozen giant left permanently tilted from a collision that happened billions of years before the first animal moved on Earth. The planet never recovered. It simply continued existing sideways. And there may be something unsettling hidden inside that idea, because if a single impact can permanently alter an entire planet, then stability in the universe may only be temporary. Worlds do not need to explode to be destroyed. Sometimes they survive, changed forever. Out beyond Saturn, beneath layers of blue haze and frozen darkness, Uranus still rolls silently around the sun, sideways, broken, ancient. A planet carrying the scar of something so catastrophic, it should not exist like this at all. Subscribe, because the universe is full of things that survive disasters beyond imagination.